This is my digital personality project by Claire Boyard. In my presentation today, I'm going to start off by talking about the two concepts that I have picked, including what 6 resources that I'm going to go along with these concepts. Then I will talk about each of my mediums. My first medium is about my 2 favorite IEP teachers that I had in high school. My second medium is how I became a teacher through my work. And my last medium is going to be my role model, which is my grandma. Threshold concepts. Threshold concepts number 1. My first threshold concept that I'll be talking about today is curriculum, which is more important than just standards, textbooks, or course of study. I've picked this as my first concept because it is important as future teachers that we are thinking about our students as a whole person while teaching, and not just thinking about the standards and the textbooks while teaching. For my first resource I'm wanting to use to back up this concept, I have selected the article called Willing to be Disturbed by Margaret J. Wheatley. I picked this article because it is important as future teachers to make sure that we are willing to be disturbed inside the classroom and open up to different ways of teaching. Differences inside the classroom aren't going to divide us. Inside the classroom, students should be encouraged to share their own perspectives, and we need to ensure that other students are understanding, learning, and valuing that person's perspective on something. My second resource that I'm going to use to back up this concept is the article called From Safe Spaces to Brave Spaces by Brian Arrow and Christy Clements. This article is important because as future teachers, we are establishing ground rules for conversations and behavior. This provides a framework for those tough conversations to happen inside the classroom about diversity for social justice issues. For my third resource that I'm going to use to back up this concept is Chapter 1, titled Situating the Self as a Teacher out of the Teacher Leadership Textbook. It is important that inside the classroom we are bringing that leadership. We can do this by having strong, supportive faculty and administration who support teachers early in their career. This chapter raises awareness of classroom risks, including the level of engagement from students to parents. I also included the picture at the bottom of the slide because it is important to plan for those tough conversations, considering setting those expectations and listening. Threshold concept number 2. For my second threshold concept, I have chosen how teaching and learning honors people's full humanity. I picked this concept because it is important that as teachers we are focused on the whole person of our students. We want to make sure that as teachers we are respecting every person who walks through our doors. For my first resource, I have picked this article, Why Do I Hate Myself by Cheryl E. Montes. In this article, it talked about how our education system isn't looking at the student as a whole. It is important that we as teachers are including students of diverse backgrounds even when they are different than our own. For my second resource, I picked reading 1.4 out of our Teacher for Social Justice called Dear White Teachers, You Can't Love Your Black Students If You Don't Know Them. I picked this resource because it talks about fighting for your children, not just your African American students. It is important that all teachers stand up for their students because it shows parents or guardians that you genuinely care about them. For my last resource, I picked reading 1.1 out of Teaching for Social Justice called The Complexity of Identity, Who Am I? I picked this source because it is important to me that I am embracing our full humanity as it creates a possibility of building alliances that may free us all. I want to make sure that I am showing my full humanity inside the classroom on a daily basis. Medium number 1. Medium number 1. During my time at Sycamore High School, I had 2 amazing IEP teachers that helped me get through my high school career. Without both of these teachers, I wouldn't be where I am today. Both of these teachers' names were called Miss Altoric and Miss Collins. They are both my second moms to me, and they were both people that I could vent to about my own problems, school issues, boys, talk to them on a personal level, and so much more. They even showed me that if I put effort and focus for my assignments, that would create a foundation for me to grow. Medium number 2. Working at the daycare and the swim school at Kids for Sports Center. When I started working here, becoming a teacher was something that was not on my radar. However, with each class of students that I have built relationships and enjoyed watching the students gain confidence as they grow in their experience and maturity. Parents have given me many accolades. I've always loved coming to work both of my jobs, and there is never a day where I never want to go to work. Medium number 3. This slide, I'm going to be talking about my role model. My role model is my grandma. She is my mom's mom. She just retired from teaching this past fall. She has been working a total of 22 years at the Wilmington High School and college. She lives in Wilmington, Ohio, and we usually go to her for every Sunday for family dinner. And she usually talks about all of her teaching time that week or those 2 days when she was in the college teaching. She usually taught certain art classes at the college or the high school. Growing up, she always told me if teaching and becoming a teacher is something that you want to do in the future, then you need to work hard at it. This is a quote that she always told me when growing up, and I've always lived by that quote. It really shows me that if you do work hard at something, you can accomplish it. Understanding that now that I'm almost a senior, I'm doing student teaching next fall, and I'm going to graduate, and then hopefully I'm going to get a teaching job. So that did come to life, and I did work hard during my college career to do that. So I'm very excited that that quote still lives on. She always brought me to her classroom when her students were there, when my sister and I were younger. I always loved going there. Her students always loved me and Paige when I went in there and tried to help and tried to be a laugh to their face, even though they might not be laughing and having fun that day. She showed me every day that I can impact people through being an amazing teacher for my future students. And I think that teachers do impact their students, and throughout the year that being a teacher, it really does show your students that you are a great person and you love being with kids every single day. And then finally, these are my resources, and thanks for watching.